One of the things that we talked about at the leadership weekend this weekend was the magic of giving. If you want to hear more about that, listen up. Hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, helping you cope with love, life and other problems. And what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is some of the gifts that I received while I was away this weekend. Now, obviously it was a great gift to be invited to speak, and I love to do that, as some of you know. So that was wonderful to be in that position. However, what I wanted to explain to you was that I got so many gifts just by taking the time and a couple of days out of my life to go and work with these young people. The number one gift that I felt more than any others was the great gift of acceptance. I was amazed at how beautifully, just kind and gentle so many of the people were. And that's of all ages. And, that's a lovely feeling for anybody. It's good for the soul to be around people who are kind and generous. And I really know that a lot of people in the world don't have that sort of environment. And so I would encourage you to go out and be amongst it. Now, some of you do that by going to your local church, and some of you do that with your family, and some of you are going, yeah, my family, not so much. And so there, I've always said, you've got the family you were born with, and then you've got the one that you choose to develop. And that's really up to you. So I got this incredible gift of acceptance, and it was wonderful. I also got two wonderful gemstones. They were actually crystals. Now, I don't know what this one is, and I think it begins with an L, and I'm sure one of my viewers is going to know. Isn't that beautiful? And this was given to me by a young man, and he actually had a much bigger piece of this. But it was so funny because he came to the next meal, or the next, it was the next meal. He came with this little bit and he gave it to me. And he said, strangely, he had gone away and accidentally dropped the bigger piece, and this piece broke off, and he wanted to give it to me. Now, there are some of you going, that wasn't a coincidence, and I don't think it was. I think he really wanted to give me this. Now, I'm certain some of you are saying, did he break it intentionally? I will never know. But what he said to me, which I thought was really an amazing gift in itself, is you will notice that the one side of it, Sal, is really polished, which is this side. But if you look at the other side, it's still quite dull. And doesn't it match my wall beautifully? I just noticed that. And I thought that was really an interesting thing because, he was talking about how in our lives, we have these nice shiny bits and we have these dull bits. And I thought, boy, isn't that a wonderful description of our lives? And then there was Hills, and Hills handed me, she actually literally opened up her hand like this and went, here, and she had all sorts of different crystals in her hand. And this one, hang on, let me just try and hold it so you can see it properly. This one really spoke to me. I don't know if you can see, but it's just got a pinkish tinge to it. And I said, wow, that really speaks to me. It was, and it was amongst much brighter, much more colourful crystals. And this apparently is a rose quartz. And I didn't know that at the time. It's a rose quartz. And I said, oh, what does it signify? Because I know that most crystals do signify certain things. And she said love. And I went, oh, well, that would be why it spoke to me. Never get too much of that. And so I just, it was just amazing. So I got these two incredible crystals. And then the third thing, and it's why I always love to go and do these things, is I just love to give hugs. I am one of those people. I really love to give hugs. I am the free hug machine. And when I go and do an event like this, not only do I get to give a whole lot of those, but I also get to receive some. And I've noticed that the longer I stay amongst young people, the more hugs I get. And that is so, so wonderful. And after a weekend with them, as I, loaded, I sort of stepped onto, there were 2 bus loads of them, and as I loaded them onto the buses, I waited until everybody was in the bus, and then I got in there and I went, okay, one last thought, if you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream come true? Because to me, it's like you can have all the leaders in the world, but if you don't have a dream of what you want to achieve, you won't strive for anything. This is DearMamaSal saying, I hope that made some sense to some of you. And I just wanted to let you know that being somebody who's capable of receiving is a really important part. And I do know that my friend Patty, who organized this event, told the story at one of the meals about how she had been in a really difficult part of her life at one stage. And I was in a position at that particular time to actually have things going very well. And when I heard of the trouble she was in, I actually went and wrote a check and handed it to her, and I said, here. And apparently it was a fair amount of money. I really couldn't remember, but she told me how much it was. And she said, no, I can't receive that. And I got really angry with her, which she didn't expect. I got angry because what I said to her was, you are one of the most giving people I know, and you've always told me the joy of giving. And now, because I want to give, you are refusing to receive, which then takes away from my joy. Because I will not get the joy of giving if you do not receive. And I think that's being incredibly selfish. So do me a favor, smarten up, take the check, so I can be happy. I wonder if that makes sense. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now.